asking only workman's wages. I come looking for a job, but I get no offers.
The name of our program for our chemical dependency is The Spirit Within, because we believe as a group that what happens when you get dependent on a substance, that your spirit goes to sleep. So it just can't handle the abuse of what you're doing to your body and to your spirit. And so we recognize that as therapists, what we try to do is we go in and we try to revive that spirit towards promoting self-love and self-care. It's a connection with that spiritual higher being that helps people get through day-to-day living when times get tough as well as when times are good. I believe that the most important is spiritual, and I didn't believe that until after the death of my godson. With the higher education, I got further and further away from even connecting with the spiritual, but I recognize that it is very important, and that I feel very strongly that there is something greater than us, not necessarily identified in a religion and or a church. In 1995, the co-founder and myself, we lost our son, who Ricardo Alejandro Tejada, he was killed in a car accident. His nickname was Chapo. And in our culture, Corazon means sweetheart, and so he was our Corazon. And he pretty much was the genesis of Corazon. Esma Tejada, who's co-founder with me, and she's also mother to Chapo, the two of us, with losing Chapo, was quite traumatic for us. I mean, very traumatic for us. And we had the choice to just give up, and because he was our only son, or to do something positive. And we both have a strong faith in God, and we believe that we were given the skills that we needed by God to put our programs together. Since our beginning, we have tried to focus on treating children and youth and their families, because we believe that we can do all that. We can treat youth, but unless we do some type of intervention within the family, things will not change. Being that the highest population that we serve are children and youth, teenagers, what I try to do is hire young therapists, young case recovery coaches, young recovery specialists that can relate to the kids, but at the same time I want to get a mature counselor also involved, or mature counselors involved, to help work with the families, with the adult parents. For the last 10 years, we've been doing exclusively mental health services, to include counseling and psychiatric services. However, we're hoping in October 2013 to expand our services to include primary care services, which means integrated health care.
It's very important for us just to have everything tied together and just be focusing on all of it coming together and just helping them in every aspect of their life and their mental, physical, just everything.
Oftentimes when an individual is experiencing mental health issues such as depression, you'll often find a medical condition connected with that. So here at Corazon, we're going to have the facilities not only to provide the mental health portion of it, but also to have a physician or a medical practitioner examine and treat any physical conditions. I had not thought much about it until the state of Arizona and Simpatico introduced it. But now that I've studied it and I'm implementing it, I see that it's very important. I think it's very important, and I think it's great that we're able to be in a position to incorporate integrated health care. Physical, mental, spiritual, and having family and friends, supportive people that are up and that are supportive and loving. I think that's also very important, which is part of the environment that we put ourselves in. These are their friends, so it's just not as easy as walking away from them. In many cases, it's been their family. And so we just can't go in there and say, you need to find other friends. What we try to do is we try to develop group processes in our interventions where they can have a group of people that they can relate to who are all on the same road towards recovery. But what we say is going back into the old playground where you were playing is not going to get you very far. You know, you have to change the playground. And it can be with some of your friends, some of the friends that you knew before. As a matter of fact, bring them with you. We have counselors, substance abuse counselors who have experience, who have traveled the road. Our tagline is taking the journey together. And one of the things that I tell my staff is that we're pretty much all bozos on the same bus. So I know that the state has come up with the whole concept of peer and family support. And even though a lot of our staff might not admit to it, but I think that as human beings, we all have experienced a degree of trauma and have experienced downfalls in our life. And I call people on that. I call our staff on that, recognizing that there's not one person better than anybody else, and that the whole goal is to improve the quality of lives for those that we serve.
I have gone through a lot of things that our clients are going through or are still currently going through. I can give them tips and advice on how I was able to overcome some of these problems, and I feel that they feel it's very helpful to have that person. When I talk to somebody who is like has like a CPS case open, and I tell them, you know, that I once had a CPS case open, and you know, I was able to get it closed and get my children back, and you know, have a successful life, that it gives them hope, and they can see that it's really obtainable.
I mostly help people here, and mostly they help them with their mental issues, and we help them with their needs and what they need to have help.
Here in our town, there's not very many things for the kids to do. We don't have like transportation or anything for them to get around anywhere. They do hang around their friends a lot, and it's just kind of, they go back to the same thing. They don't have that separation. A lot of times maybe they don't have the support. Maybe their family members are also dealing with issues or addictions. So it's just us helping them learn the skills to be a better person on their own, not rely on other people is the most part.
People that you grow up with that abuse substances, then as young children, you're interested in wanting to find out what makes everyone so happy. And so they start experiencing or experimenting early in their life. There's no question in my mind. I believe that it's a combination of both. And we have to examine both, and we have to treat both. In some cases, in one of our programs, it's the essence of family, is a lot of the families that we work with that are involved with the child welfare system as well as the legal system. What we attempt to do is we try to break down values and beliefs that they might have learned that resulted in their parenting. Because it's Corazon and because it's Sweetheart, you know, it does, people might believe that we only serve the Latino population, but that's not true. We do attract the Latino population, but our doors are open to any human being who needs our services. Because again, I think it's not an issue of color, it's not an issue of ethnicity, it's an issue of having taken a journey where you've fallen, and we're there to help you back up. We have different cultures, and we have to consider culture, and we do. We need to know each other's culture. I would not be able to go into your culture and be able to say I know it all, but if you're my client, then I'm going to find out a little bit about your culture. But we don't necessarily, here at Corazon, we work towards understanding that we don't see culture as just the color of your skin or your ethnicity. We consider culture in regard to children, like Anthony. They have a culture of their own. Single parents have a culture. Gay and lesbian families have cultures. The traditional family has a culture. So we pretty much break it apart in regard to culture as well as subcultures. We have diverse staffing. We have individuals who are Anglo and come from the European culture. We have Latinos. We also have Native American cultures. We have gay and lesbian counselors who are able to address those issues. We have single parents. We have many single parents who are able to address the unique needs of each one of those cultures.
We show them like positive ways, like of going out and having fun without using drugs, just going out and being able to do fun things. We have programs here that, you know, they go out and they kind of have like a mentor type person, and just trying to teach them skills that they would need to learn so that when they do turn into an adult, they have some of those skills. A lot of people feel like they don't have anybody, and just knowing that they have somebody to call is a huge relief for them. Somebody who will support them and just give them all the support that they need.